welcome to The Melancholy Guy, a companion podcast to my Tumblr blog, The Melancholy Guy. Daring to be black, open, and free. The adventures of a divorced, open, polyamorous African American male. I am the Melancholy Guy, Calvin, or CPJR if you know me. And today I definitely believe that change I must or die I will. Welcome to the 26th episode of the Melancholy Guy podcast, my podcast, which is basically a companion podcast to my Tumblr blog, which can be found at melancholyguy.tumblr.com. And basically, the blog started as a way for me to journal or post, take notes, memories, talk about the experiences that that were happening in my life, our lives, me and my ex-wife, as we went from monogamy to non-monogamy and eventually into polyamory. But really, everything is under the umbrella of ethical non-monogamy. And the reason that I say that is because there's a lot of confusion as to what ethical non-monogamy is, what polyamory is, and where exactly does everyone fit in. So, I started this podcast to talk about my journey. And it's interesting that I was talking to a friend this weekend and sharing the podcast with her, and she was going into the recent episodes. Last week I did an episode. It was a recap episode, and I wanted to just announce so that everyone know that this is not a swinging podcast, because I saw that all my titles were swinging -101, swinging -consent, swinging how to get dates, swinging. So they all began with swinging, but then it seemed to me that it was starting to sound like a podcast about swinging, but this isn't a podcast about swinging. But the part of my journey into non-monogamy did include swinging. And I could say that I was a swinger at the time for about a year and a half, I think. And that's what we did. So I think it's important to talk about, origin stories. And that's what I eventually want this podcast to, transform into when I get to the end of my story. Having people come on and just talk about, the early days of, being, springtime's here, so I have allergies. Early days of getting into non-monogamy, what it was, what it looked like, how did you get to your final destination, or if you're, going, or if you're looking for a final destination. There's nothing, I don't think, so some people still swing, they're into polyamory. I don't think that there is a final destination, I'm saying. But I know for me, the definition of polyamory, which is many loves, works for me the best. Swinging is more of an activity that's, seems to be pretty tightly connected to couples that are monogamous but like to have outside sex with different partners, usually swapping, orgies, things like that. So it seems to be more of an activity, sort of a lifestyle than a philosophy. I guess the philosophy would be ethical non-monogamy. Swinging is how it looks in, the life of swingers, trading partners, having outside sex. But basically, the couple stays intact. The couple is prime. It's like we talk about couple privilege. There's definitely couple privilege in swingers, because swingers like to stay together. Basically, it's about the couple, the unit, staying as close to the current model as possible. Two people marrying and staying married forever, living together, nested, having kids, and eventually, dying married. That's what the goal of monogamy is, right? To death do us part. And raising kids, going to college, taking vacation. Only thing is with swingers, They like to fuck other people, which is good, man. You should do it if that's what you want to do. So I'm gonna get into the meat of this episode. So I want to go. This is gonna be a regular show. I'm going back into the blog, and like I said, the show is split up into 3 parts: past blog, present life, future recovery. Because a few episodes opened up that addiction is part of my story, and I think I need to talk about that because there probably is some intersectionality somewhere in this thing that I call my life where that I believed living non-monogamously helped me get to this point of accepting recovery into my life and not wanting to hide it or be ashamed of it. Maybe it's about the whole thing, not being ashamed of living your life, man. Basically, I guess when I decided to do the podcast, one of the first things I thought about was even the blog, like, should it be anonymous? My name's on it. People are going to know all this stuff. But I'm like, am I ashamed of the shit? No, I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not like, I wasn't ashamed of being a Christian either. You know, it's like, I'm not ashamed of who I am. I love myself, and my story is unique. It's different. I always say, like, people say, what are people going to remember about you? And I say, I'm interesting. You remember that. I will have a story for you, something that you can relate to and get some out of, because I definitely have been in a lot of different, stages. I will go down rabbit holes. I've gone down rabbit holes, and still alive. But one rabbit hole I definitely shouldn't have gone down, and that was what got me addicted, and then having to carry that burden. But still, it's still part of my story, something that I should not be ashamed of. I'm ashamed of a lot of things I did, a lot of the people that I hurt, and hurting myself. But it happens to people. It's a condition of being alive on this earth. So basically, the only way to get better is to talk about it. The only way to heal is to treat the problem. And one thing I know about addiction is it cannot be in the dark. It must be in the light. That is the one way that I know of to be free. So anyway, this is not that podcast. This podcast is about swinging. So I'm going to go into swinging again, hotel dates. So I'm going to talk about hotel dates. So the reason I want to talk about this is because, once you get into the swinging lifestyle, if you follow any of the previous episodes, you know that once you start going out to clubs, parties, on dates, meeting people on the sites, you got your profile up, you're going to start making friends, right? And then so with those friends, you're going to start doubling back. You're going to start like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Let's hook up. All right. So there's ways you can hook up, right? You can hook up going to, their house, which we've done, coming to our house, which we've done, or you can set up a place to meet neutral at a hotel, which we did. Now, I'm about to read an entry because this also is a dark episode as far as something that happened in our swinging life. It ended badly because, I don't know, our communication wasn't where it should have been, and I definitely, like I said, probably overreacted to what happened, and I just kind of carried it the wrong way. And I'm going to talk about it, but first I'm going to read the entry. Touched by Jealousy, February 13th. And this is going to be about hotel dates, about a couple. And I say touched by jealousy. I will touch on jealousy a little bit. It's like I've said, if you read anything that I've written, Instagram or Facebook, you know that I profess to not being jealous or never having dealt with jealousy except this one time. Okay? And a hotel date. and I'm gonna read the entry. Then I'm gonna go into what I think is the best way to handle hotel dates and how it can get out of control and get crazy. Because you're a couple making a date, right? Two people, they're two people, and everyone is trying to, basically have the best time they can, and it could get out of control if everybody, if you don't set the tone and let someone else get to control of the date, it can get out of hand, and, you won't have the best time. Talking about touched by jealousy. Now, let's go over the weekend's play date. There were a few firsts for this weekend of us practicing ethical non-monogamy. First, we actually had a hotel date with another couple. We actually spent the entire night with them separate from each other. There were 2 queen-size beds, and we swapped partners. We actually met this couple previously at a party. We met them at the New Year's Eve party that we went to, and we actually played with them then, Dave and Yvette. We had great chemistry and played together at the party and made sure to exchange information to meet again. That was 2 months ago, reference of time. This is 2012, so this is right after the party. So we went to the party first. So definitely we swung before we got to the party. This weekend was our much anticipated reunion. Everyone was looking forward to getting together again, and it was exciting. The meeting again, reunion, conversation, and then playtime all went well. And then I was touched by a little jealousy. Really? Me jealous? I have been reading about how it's still possible for us non-monogamy types to experience jealousy, but I didn't believe it wouldn't be possible for me to feel any jealousy. That's an awkward sentence. I thought it would be her, my partner, before me. Surprise, it was me first. And I don't think it was me first. There's some other incidents. And it wasn't that my partner was with another man. It was my perception that she was enjoying it more than being with me. Maybe this partner was wishing, maybe his partner was me, his wife, his partner was wishing she was over there with them instead of cuddling and spooning with me. Our play, me and Yvette, our play climaxed earlier, and we were basking in afterglow. I actually fought the feeling with compersion. She was having a good time. That's what this was all about. She deserved to have fun, and boy, she was having fun. Anyway, the next day, we discussed my feelings of jealousy and how it was completely misplaced. She stated that she was only mildly enjoying herself and probably would have enjoyed cuddling up with us instead. I'm glad I was ready for this experience and I was able to think and then talk it out with my partner. I'm glad I had the words, and now wifey gets a massage tonight. No, okay. It's bonding sex. Okay, so I'm going to unpack all that. So this was basically our first hotel date with the couple we met at the what was that? New Year's Eve party. And so we kept in touch, I think on the site and through, text messages and stuff like that. So we wanted to have a date. So I think I was in the middle of a project and I really was working a lot of hours and I just wanted to, have some fun for a weekend. So we had planned to, get a hotel room down in National Harbor over here in near Washington, D.C. Get a hotel room and, eat dinner there. I actually thought that I would have time to maybe hit the pool in the hotel. Because we were gonna book the room. We were taking care of everything. Actually, we were going to host them. But then somehow I think if it was a nurse and she had some plan, but she got discounts at one of the hotels down there, a loft hotel. And so we moved there. We were going to split it. We were going to split the cost. So the check-in time changed. It was late. I think it switched over to them booking the room, then us giving them, the money for the room, something like that. Um, so I got off work, went home instead of, I think Heidi was gonna meet me there at the hotel, so we would have some time for us to be together, and then wait for them to come. Then we meet for to go to dinner. So the whole thing worked out where I think we got to the hotel first, got to the room, couldn't get in the room, had to wait outside for them to come up with the key. I'm not sure how that worked. So we were waiting outside in the hallway. We had the room. They eventually got there, and then we all went in the room, unwound, and then we found out everybody's unwinding and unpacking your alcohol, your clothes, and stuff like that. Um, we had brought our Moscato, some Ciroc vodka, all that kind of stuff. What we do to play, and all our bag and everything. But then we found out they don't drink. We did. They say, yo, we don't drink. And they said when we go to a party, we basically carry around, the little glass with some water in it, just so people think we do drink, but we actually don't drink. So that was, it wasn't a big deal, but it was definitely unexpected. Cause I think, yeah, we hadn't eaten yet. So I think I had to go downstairs to a restaurant to get some food while they were upstairs. I think they started playing. I came upstairs because I was hungry and I was eating, having a couple drinks and just watching them. And then I think we played. Yeah, we did play a little bit. And then they wanted to go see a movie. I forget the name of the movie. So then we all got dressed, went out to a movie, watched the movie, and it was cold. It was February, and it's DC, so it was cold. I remember being bundled up. It was cold outside. And we went into Virginia to go to the movie. I cannot remember the name of the movie. So we watched the movie, then came back to the hotel and switched. This is when we completely switched over to do two separate beds. And here's the thing about my Demi Saxley, Yvette, I was very into her, and I think I got a chance because I think we switched at the movies, so we got a chance to share some time and talk at the movies. So I was really get into her and stuff like that. So we went back, like I said, to the room, and then we played and we did our thing, and we were chilled, right? Because we were separate beds. Now, they, in the other bed, Dave and my ex-wife, they were still going all night. I'm talking about, I was going to talk about that. Anyway, so they were still going, and I'm like, wow, we don't make love like that. That's not how we do it. It's totally different. And I'm like, he's going all night. He's going all night. I don't do that. She doesn't want that. Does she want that? Does she like that? Is that how it goes? I don't understand. I don't remember ever asking her to want me to go that long. Wow, it's been a long time. Are they going to go to sleep tonight? This is all stuff running through my head while I'm just there listening, trying to get relaxed. And I'm feeling distant away from her because she's having fun with another guy. I don't really know what's going on. This is not how we do it. We were very in tune with each other as far as sex goes, and then we just had our thing. What I'm saying? It worked. Explosion came at the same time. We chilled, cuddled, and went to sleep most times. But this was going on all night. So I was feeling a little weird about the whole situation. I didn't know if it was something that she didn't tell me about. Something that was new, was she experiencing something new? So I was feeling jealous. So anyway, eventually everybody went to sleep, woke up the next day, took our shower, talked about everything that happened, got into some more play, did some more stuff, talked about what we were going to do that day. I think they were going to watch it was some jazz show they were going to, and they invited us to go to. I think it was free to go to it, somewhere at the Kennedy Center. But basically, nah. After that, we're sleepy. We're going to go home and crash and go to sleep. We don't because this like, these are late nights. Remember, we came there, it was already night, already dark, so it's wintertime. Um, we had to find food, go to the movies, play some more. This is like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. We slept, got up. They wanted to go. We're like, nah, we're gonna go home and crash. And home was like 45 minutes to an hour away. So we basically went home and then talked about it. We talked about it. Like I said, in the entry, because I think we had planned the whole evening. We were gonna go to the mall. We were gonna buy like the strawberries, dipped in chocolate, like Sherry's berries. We were gonna buy those for her, like a bouquet. We were, or maybe I was, but we were definitely gonna treat them to a hell of a night, a good time. But then it got when we let them get involved in the planning, it got all crazy. So I guess what I was saying about hotel dates, if you're doing it, and I would tell you about another date that we had later on in our experiences later on in this year, with the other couple that I was talking about last week, D&D. The exotic erotic couple, yeah, D&D. They hosted us, and it was totally we were there for them. They just treated us to everything, and they had total control, which is how we should have did it that night. Since we were inviting them, they were actually coming from somewhere down deep in Virginia to us. We should have just kept control. I should have just kept control of the whole evening. It probably would have been. I don't know if it would have been better for us, but, I think that it would have been better for us. I think this was something they were used to, all this craziness of going back out and stuff like that. And that's when we found out about them. They didn't actually swing a lot. They said they only, did it every, 2 or 3 months, and they didn't actually go out a lot. They actually just... they knew the couple that threw the party, and normally when they threw a party, they would invite them. That's when they would come out. It was only like a few times. It wasn't something they did. They were more of a monogamous couple. So anyway, when we got home and started talking about it, and I talked about, what was going on and how I was feeling with my ex, she told me no, I didn't, and she said I didn't like that. It wasn't anything that I liked. It wasn't something that I was used to. I was just going along with it. And I'm like, but why didn't you tell him to get up? Because she was a bit injured. She was a bit sore from the entire incident. And that just set me off. I'm like, why you didn't tell him to stop or get off you? Why would you let that go on? I'm thinking that I'm listening to you and trying to be in tune with what you're doing. You sound like you were having fun, but you're saying now that you didn't enjoy it, but you let it go on. Come to find out, he was on like Cialis, keep him up all night, all that kind of stuff. So it was like, oh, that's not what we do. We basically are in tune with each other and we enjoy each other. It's nothing like that at all. So basically, you were doing something that you didn't enjoy, and now you're sore. She was really sore, and that's why I guess why I put in the massage part in there. Because it really pissed me off. It pissed me off for him not being in tune with her, and pissed me off with her not, speaking up for herself or advocating for herself about if you're into something that you're not enjoying, you're supposed to, speak up, say exactly, what you want or what you don't want. And so for some reason, like I was a few nights later, I think I was sitting around on the couch. Maybe I was drinking the cocktails on the side and just thinking about it. And I was getting pissed. And I got on the phone and cussed dude out. And, they were like, what's going on? What's wrong? I said, just went off. And, I felt terrible afterwards, but I'm like, I didn't understand, like something about, your wife is fine. She had a good time. She's not hurt. My wife isn't here hurt because she was in pain for the next couple of days. Right. And me being the guy, and if my, partner, wife, whatever is hurt, I'm going to, want to correct that shit. And I basically went off, and she was like, why'd you do that? My ex was like, why'd you do that? You shouldn't have done that. I could have handled it myself, or blah. I'm like, but you're hurt. Why would you? and the whole situation just ended badly. So it taught me, um, taught me a couple things about I need to listen more about what's going on with her. She doesn't know how to advocate for herself and tell what she wants. But then I also need to learn how to just let her handle it, or either, I still I still don't know what I could have done differently. Just let her handle it. I guess it wasn't a bad thing, but it wasn't a good thing either. So the whole situation just got, from the very beginning. Actually, I should say this: from the very beginning of the situation, when it started getting crazy about who was doing what, we're inviting them and they're wanting to do this, they want to do that. I should have said, you know what, let it go, because it doesn't seem like we're on the same page as to what we want done. Like I said before, I'm gonna talk about the other couple when they invited us to their spot. Same down here, they had an actual timeshare down in National Harbor. So we went to their place, met them, talked with them, had a drink, went down. They had the whole thing planned out, and we was completely with them. And we didn't plan to spend the night, but we spent the night. But it was totally being hosted by them, and they were in total control, and we were able to just go with the flow. Whereas this one, it was up in the air. We didn't know what was going on at any given time. Plans were constantly changing, and it ended badly. So I guess for me, if something ends badly, I'm going to end it badly. And I ended that one really badly. So the jealousy, I think, came from just me not knowing what was going on. And the way I handle it is I just, step back and said, okay, well, we'll talk it out. I didn't get up and say, what the fuck you doing, nigga? My wife, all that kind of stuff. Nothing happened. I wasn't going to do that because she didn't give me indication anything was wrong. She seemed to be enjoying herself. This wasn't, whatever they were doing over there, it wasn't something that she had asked for or advocated for from me. So I was okay with it. I just needed to understand what was going on. Then when I found out what was going on, I was completely wrong about what it was. And then when I found out what it was, I got mad. So we never saw them again. I mean, there was no coming back from that, because I had threatened to kill that dude or mess him up. It was like, I'm not a violent dude. I'm like, what the heck was going on? I'm all of a sudden gangster with this guy because I just misunderstood what was going on and didn't handle it well. And it wasn't actually the jealousy that I wasn't handling well. It was the treatment of my ex-wife at the time, who I still to this day still wonder why she didn't advocate for herself and say, yo, dude, this is not what I want, and get the fuck up. Anyway, so that's it. My hotel date advice to you is to, if you're, basically if you're booking a date, if it's your date, stay in control of the date. If you're hosting another couple, hosting a party or anything like that, it's yours. You do it. Don't let anybody else try to, tell you, because we were going to pay for everything. We didn't need any help paying for anything. We were fine at the time. Like I said, I was still working, she working. We had the DJ thing still going on. Money wasn't an issue. It was just something that they just wanted to do as far as, money goes, to split it. And I'm like, no, we got it, dude. I think it was like him maybe thinking that he needed to contribute. I'm like, no, dude, just chill. We got it. Because when I went over to, like I said, the other time that we went to, and it was actually this was actually never an issue with any other couple. I should have known that the vibe wasn't right. And the vibe wasn't right with them in a certain way, because of some issues that my wife said about him. She wasn't too, and I'll get to all this taking one for the team stuff. She wasn't too into the dude. But again, we liked her. We liked her, and she, we basically wanted to see Yvette. So anyway, handle your business. Don't let anyone take control of your date. Because if you're a guy and you're in the couple and you want to hook up with another couple, just say, I got it, man. I got it. Don't worry about it. Just come, enjoy. Cause I'm able to, all this alpha beta shit. I don't know. I'm able to, if a dude said, I got it, just chill. Okay, all right, man, I'll let you do it. Cause sometimes I know that that's something that you need to do. You for yourself need to go ahead and handle it. You need to pay for it. So I'm gonna let you do it. Let you do what you think you need to do for yourself. I'm fine with letting you do it. You know what I'm saying? If I think that I need to step up, I'm gonna step up. But other than that, I'm good. And I don't think that they had the ability to do that. And I may have saw the signs and I didn't go with it. So that's hotel dates in a nutshell. Basically, stay in control. Stay in control. Stay in control. And anything, if you get signs that you're gonna lose control, or you get signs that things aren't gonna go your way, just bail, man. Just bail. It's worth. We had a pretty good time that night, but like I said, the whole thing ended badly. The whole thing ended badly, and we were definitely at a mismatch with them because the whole thing about the next day, I'm like, y'all don't want to go to sleep, y'all not tired, and they just like, nah, we're gonna go catch this jazz thing. Y'all should come. I'm like, nah, we're gonna go home and crash because we gotta go to work the next day because this was Sunday night. So that was a good night turned bad, and that was my one time I thought I was dealing with some jealousy, but maybe it wasn't jealousy. It was just not knowing what the hell was going on. And that's what I always think about jealousy for myself. I never really think that it's just like, I don't know what jealousy really is, but I know like something's going on, but I don't know what it is inside me. Maybe it's something. And to me, it was like, I don't know if that's what she wants. It's just confusion on my part, mostly. Like, that's not the what she likes. Because I've actually have been, like I said, with her with some other guys, and I saw her having a great time. But it was the same thing same lines that we were used to. This whole, all night thing, long time. Wasn't her thing. So I was confused about it mostly. So guess what? I talked a little bit about sex. I should put a disclaimer on this one. So that's going to be it for the blog today. That's it for the past. Next week, I think I'm going to talk about, drum roll please. I think I'm going to talk about unicorns next week. I didn't put a lot of entries about some of the young ladies that we were involved with and dated, but we did have we met a few women that came with us or came over to the house, and a couple of them frequently that I attempted to date. I don't think she was too interested in dating them, but I attempted to date them. That was part of my like swinging over into the polyamory. I was becoming attached to them, and I was seeing them more and more. It wasn't about the sex; it was the relationship part that I really wanted, and it wasn't, all about the sex for me. It never was. So that's coming next week. I think I'm gonna do unicorns, and single women. Unicorns, the single by women. That's what it'll be. Swinging unicorns, the single by women. So that's next week. And then after that, I think that's gonna wrap it up pretty much, except for next week. It's gonna be fully just talking about how from this point, because I have a couple more. Yeah, I have a couple more. Yeah, I gotta need to talk about a couple more subjects. I think I need to talk about another subject that we have to deal with. Take one for the team, of course. And I need to talk about don't take one for the team. I need to talk about agreements. I talked about that, but what happens if a couple or you're in the middle of something and someone's trying to break agreements? The game. Yeah, the game, swinging, the motherfucking game. There is game in swinging, and you have couples who are gamers, and they will try to run some game. I think that's actually 2 episodes. That's gonna take us into exotic erotic. That couple, that's gonna take us fully into polyamory. And in the meantime, also in that we did do a lot of dating. Like we had a lot of just meeting couples for one time, trying to hook stuff up, something not work up. Oh, then I talk about the group. Okay, so I would say it's about good 4 or 5 episodes. I think I'll be like into another recap show, and then I'll go into fully polyamory. So I got some more things to talk about. I think definitely. I think about just all the subjects, and I'm thinking off the top of my head and not actually from the blog. So with that, I'm gonna go into present. Okay, my life. So this weekend was my birthday. My birthday was April 19th, and on Thursday, it was a melancholy birthday. It really was, because I didn't, like I said, I'm still looking for a job. I'm unemployed, and I didn't think I would be unemployed this long. I didn't plan for it, but I guess because I'm not really pressing the button on recruiters or contractors. I'm trying to talk to specifically direct hires and coming at a company. And I want to work in DC too, so I'm really like zeroing in on positions in DC. I'm zeroing in on just full-time direct hires, not contract or temp to perm or contract to perm. So I'm being a little bit selective into calls I return, stuff like that. I didn't think I would still be on, but I am. And like last week, I think I had an interview. I didn't get that job. I think I was overqualified. That's what they said. And I was feeling bad, but I had a great time this weekend. I had a friend who had dated before. She reached out to me on Facebook. I'll go through my Facebook settings a lot, and I find out that I do block people at times, and then I unblock them, and I follow people. All depends on what kind of asshole I'm feeling like being at the time. So this person, we had met a while back. We had tried to date and tried to date again a few times, and we're good friends. Actually, we have a very, very strong connection. But at the time when we first tried to date, I was definitely into my whole thing with my addiction and not healthy. I was probably very toxic at the time. She was understanding because she has some of the same issues, stuff like that. And so she was trying to help me, but I just basically, I don't know, cussed her out for some reason. And because she's a very, very smart, very articulate, strong-willed woman, and that's the kind I like. Actually, I like very intelligent, very strong-willed, very into their femininity, and very articulate and very smart. And this is who she was. But at the time I wasn't like going through those verbal calisthenics or those verbal exercises that you have to do with those women sometimes. And so I just resorted to being an asshole, and took the option to act like an asshole. And I apologized to her. So we talked, and then a couple other times, I think last year we were supposed to talk anyway. She came over Thursday. We went out to the park, had a great day. For me, I call anytime that I'm out in nature, that's my church. So I had a good time just being out in nature and just walking with her, reconnecting with her, and talking with her. And I'm glad we got this, reconnected. We're reconnected at this time. Now that I'm, not saying I'm 100% healthy, but I'm much better. I don't think I'm toxic. I'm centered on recovery, which is a good place to be and a good time for us. Like I said, we had a good time. And then I think the next day on Friday, on 4/20, hooked up with my friend Daz, went up to Baltimore, helped her out with her investment property, and then went to one of my favorite places on earth in Washington, D.C. If you're in the conscious community or the Black conscious community, definitely the Black conscious community, or into the non-monogamous, polyamorous community, you probably heard of the Madison House. Went hung out there for 4/20, had a great night, playing cards, flowers, edibles, pop-ups. And with my friend Daz treated me to that for my birthday, and had a great time there. The next day, my brother took me to lunch Saturday, hung out with him. My daughter came through, took me to dinner. I figured I was going to be like really melancholy and not having a good time. And then the day, I had to run out here, do something for my brother and for my father. And then I had to Kimberly, my friend from Thursday, came back through. She went to the beach and wanted to hang out for a bit. Hung out with her. So it's been a great time just hanging out with people, being here for people. And right now in my life, that's what I'm trying to do, be present in the people's lives, being present in people's lives that are here for me. You know what I mean? Like constantly just being available. One thing in my past, when I wasn't healthy, living, clean and in recovery, I'll be gone for days. And then even when I'm here, I'll be gone because you're just basically in a haze and not healthy. And I'm enjoying being here. And if you follow me on like social media, you see some of the things I post all the time. Those are like I'm doing the haiku 30 days. Those are mental exercises for me and to stay present. To think about, the words and the postings and the feelings and processing those, and writing about them, and then coming to this podcast and sitting in front of this mic and just talking about where I'm at today. And it's been great, man. It's really getting good. So that's the life. I have some interviews to schedule for next week, so I'll let you know how it's going. It's going how it's supposed to go. That's the way I believe. That's what I believe. It's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. And until then, ain't nothing to worry about. Just do the next right thing. And that's basically what I do. So I'm also future recovery. So I'm talking to some other people about some new podcasts. I'm hoping to bring some podcasts on spirituality, and somebody very influential in the community asked me about am I having guests on the podcast, and no, I'm not. I told him, but I'm like, this dude's to do a podcast. And a lot of times when I come to someone and I say, you should do a podcast, I know you got one in you, and it gets them to thinking. Kimberly, my friend, is working on an idea. I think she'll be great on a spirituality podcast because she's very deep. She's actually an ordained minister. So it'll be interesting she's actually, I think she's a non-theist. So it'll be actually interesting for me to, produce that podcast because I'll get to pick her brain for, 45 minutes to an hour. So hopefully we'll get something like that done, put together. That'd be great to put it on, under the DMV Podcaster Studio banner. And we'll see how that goes. And if you're interested in doing a podcast, holler at me. Let's see what we can do. That is the plan, to get more people in this community that I know of, talking about their experiences, man. Putting that out there. There's not a lot of us out there talking about, our non-monogamous experiences. And like I said, this is not a swinging podcast. I will be talking about polyamory more in the future, but I'm going to go through this entire process. I told my friend Kimberly about it, and she was like, why is there so much swinging? Is there any more episodes? I'm like, well, no, this is where I'm at right now. We were swingers, so I want to talk about that and go through that and then show how we went through swinging and got to polyamory and the differences in the lives of a swinger and those that are polyamorous. There is a difference. There's definitely a difference in my life. So anyway, so I'm going to wrap it up there. The podcasts are hosted on Spreaker.com. If you want to follow me on Instagram, Cal Pierce Jr. or The Melancholy Guy, just do a search. I should come up. Calvin Pierce Jr. I should come up, or at Cal Pierce. No, at Cal Pierce Jr. on Twitter. And anywhere you find me, you'll find my Linktree link, and that will give you links to everything: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr. The Melancholy Guy at tumblr.com. That's where the journey is. That's where I blog. And I do have an entry coming up. I owe a quarterly check-in. So I will be putting that on the blog soon. I write like every day about any topic that's on my mind, whether it be what's going on now, but mostly about relationships and non-monogamy, or just general fuck boy shit I see out on the internet at any given time. I post that like every day on an entry every day, every night on Instagram. I hashtag it After Dark, the Melancholy Guy After Dark. It started out as a funny thing I would do, like some sexually charged thing, but now it's some deep thought thing I do every day. Anyway, so Ben Sound is where I get the music, bensound.com for free music. There's also paid music there. Host on Spreaker. I'm on Stitcher, The Melancholy Guy, iTunes, The Melancholy Guy, and hopefully soon Spotify. But I'll let you know that it'll be all over my social media when that happens, because that'll be I've made it in my little own mind, in my own little world. I'll be happy to be on Spotify, but I'm happy to be on Stitcher, which was my first podcast app, which I love and I use every day. And like I said, Spreaker.com, SoundCloud. I'm starting to use that for just the current episode, because the episodes are an hour. People that do podcasting do it because they love it. Most of us, until we can monetize the podcast with sponsors or Patreon or something like that, are paying for this out of our pocket. I'm doing this, like I said, to learn how to podcast. But eventually, I hope that to get an audience and monetize it. And then I want to help other people. That's the plan. Host their podcasts and then monetize those, all under DMV Podcasters Studio. Thanks for listening, and see you next week. I made it a week, a couple days late because of the birthday. I was moving and grooving, man. Okay, so anyway, always remember to love and respect yourself first, and everything else will take care of itself. Peace and namaste.